guys, so we're here at Bean Brothers. It's a really spacious cafe and I'm having a cup of joe with Effie and Pang. We're going to talk about the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge that was newly launched in Malaysia on Friday. So guys, what do you think of the S7 Edge?
Okay, the first thing that I noticed is they improved quite a lot on the design of the phone. One of the biggest gripe that I had with the S6 Edge last year was the panel was a bit flat at the back, so the device is not as comfortable. And when you marry the material of a metal on the side and the glass at the back, it gets really slippery. So what they did this year is make the back panel a bit more curvier. So when you hold it, it fits into the hand a lot nicer than last year.
So your beef is the slipperiness.
The slipperiness, it's still slippery,
okay,
but it's not as bad as last year.
Okay.
So I don't have this constant fear of, oh, it's gonna fall. It's gonna cost me $600 to replace the panel and stuff like that.
Don't you guys put cases on your phones?
Don't.
No.
We are manly men.
Okay, guys don't do that. Girls do that.
We like to show off the design, because if they design all this nice material at the back, at the front, it looks nice as it is. So people and me and Pang, we like to, okay, this is the phone. It looks nice.
It's a curved screen, right? And I know the S6 was also curved, the S6 Edge, the S7 Edge is also curved. But then when you have curved screen and it meets over here, wouldn't it be vulnerable to drops, that it cracks easily?
I think they did some kind of test to show it last year when they first introduced the curved screen, that they said that this was actually just as strong as a normal flat screen.
Just as strong.
I don't think we'll be able to test that out. But so far, I think it's been okay. I haven't dropped it yet. But
You haven't dropped it. I dropped it twice.
Oh wow.
You
It's
did?
okay.
Still okay.
Do you dip it in a glass of water to test the water
Yes, I
resistance?
did.
So how
Toss
deep
it
can
in.
it go? 1 meter?
1.5 meter for half an hour, that's the rated. And actually somebody tested that and it didn't last for half an hour.
Do you shower with your phones?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't.
So Pang, what do you love most about the phone?
One of the things that I really enjoyed using since the Galaxy Note 5 was the camera. I think Samsung has done a really good job since the Galaxy Note 4 with improving the camera. Previously they added too many things, it was too cluttered, it was slow. And since the Note 4, I remember it was much improved in speed. The S6 introduced the double press home button to get the camera going, and it's really fast.
So you can just launch it with a double press?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's I think by far the best implementation of a camera shortcut.
So the camera is 12 megapixels now.
Yes,
Correct.
10 megapixel.
And that's a downgrade from the S6. Why is that?
I'm not going to call it a downgrade.
Yeah, because
So-
there are other features that...
Yes, so the Galaxy Note 5 is using a standard sensor. The new one has larger pixels, and they have something called dual pixel technology. So that actually first existed in a Canon DSLR in 2014, 2013.
So they're using that technology.
Pretty much it uses the same principle in the sense that each photodiode, I guess you can say that, each pixel houses two things. One is a photodiode for the capturing light for the image, and the other is actually a PDF module. PDF module means it helps detect autofocus. So if usually, based on what Samsung says, the iPhone camera has 5% of the pixels has this array. For the S7 Edge, it's 100%. So every pixel houses an autofocus module. If you want to check it now, like you can turn on your camera, you can turn on this camera, you can see how fast your focus is.
Let's try.
So once you turn on your camera, you can see that, okay, once you hold it still, it's there, right? That's how long it takes to focus. I'm just gonna turn on the camera.
Okay.
I'm gonna go here, and it's focused. One of the things that they've done really well since the S6 was to constantly push the camera to focus all the time, no matter whether you're moving or whether you're not moving. That eliminates the need for you to tap to focus. I think this is even more important for those shooting video on this phone.
Okay, so do you think this is one of the biggest selling points for this phone, the autofocus?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the selling points. I also noticed that this is a good selfie phone, right? It's a good
Yes,
selfie phone,
yes.
especially with the S7 Edge. When you take a selfie, you can have more people in
Yeah.
your selfie shot.
A setting called I forgot what
White
it's called.
selfie.
White selfie.
White
correct.
selfie.
Yeah. So what it does is that you put it up, enable it, and what you do is that you turn it around like how you should a panorama.
No, we should try. We should take a selfie right now.
Okay, you can try that. You
Alright.
can try with that phone. So
We're
you're
gonna
gonna
take a selfie. Can you
okay,
take a
so you're gonna
selfie?
enable it, and it says white selfie.
White selfie.
So what it has is that it detects using your fingerprint sensor. It's a heart rate monitor.
How do you want to do it?
So when you're ready, where am I? Okay, there you go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so once it hits that frame, once you
Okay.
turn it around, both sides, and then it will automatically capture it. And you have it. Oh my god.
Let's talk about the battery life.
The S7 Edge, this is actually one of the most densest batteries they have so far, 3,600 milliamps.
3,600, yeah.
And it's lasted me maybe more than a day usually. The longest screen on time, so that's one of the measures that we use
yeah.
to test battery
Screen on
life. Screen on time was almost 6 hours. That was the time I hit 6.5. So it's really long.
It's really great.
Yeah.
So how about you, Effie?
For me, I would categorize myself as a heavy user, just like Pang. I push a lot of notifications because I get a lot of calls, got a lot of emails, and just like Pang, I noticed it lasts over a day. This phone, the S7 Edge, I think would easily surpass what I experienced on the Z3 on my day-to-day usage.
Since the introduction of fast charging on smartphones, there's an increasing trend of people to snack on charging. Let's just say like people like you and me, like we go out in and out of the office all the time. Let's just say we have like a meeting for an hour. Like, oh, my battery's running low, I'm just gonna charge it with my fast charger. 1 hour is probably like what, half, 50%, 60% battery. That's gonna last you another day. Wherever they can, they're just gonna plug it in because they know that even like 10 minutes of charging on a fast charger can give you like 10 to 15%. 10 to 15% of battery life here is gonna last you several hours.
So right now it seems like the S7 Edge is good for all demographic. But what are the cons here? Apart from the slipperiness that you mentioned earlier.
Concept, I think it depends on whether you like TouchWiz or not. There's always been one of the major talking points when you talk about Android.
Okay, so it's a user interface
Yeah,
here,
there's
and the
like
software.
multiple third-party launches. So even though there's a lot of these extra features like you can take screenshot with palm and everything, I don't use that after a week of using the phone.
So that feature is redundant then?
It's redundant for people like me. So I also noticed that it's a bit slower, say, than on a stock Android. So it's basically you have to choose between a lot of features, but a bit slower, or you get a Nexus with a stock Android, which is faster, but you don't have all these extra features.
We call it frills.
All the
No
frills, yeah.
I've been using Samsung phones consistently since the Galaxy Note 3, 4, and I've actually seen how it's actually improved over the years. And honestly, this is by far the best implementation of the TouchWiz software.
We should talk about the side screen.
Okay, let's talk about the side screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The edge bar.
edge
Edge screen.
The edge screen.
Yeah.
Okay, do you like it? Do you not like it?
Okay, here's the thing. The first time they used this particular edge screen was on the Note Edge. Okay, they put a lot of stuff in there, but it's very limited to about half an inch of the screen, which I think is quite silly. And you have to scroll everything within that particular border. If I pulled it, it's a lot bigger now. So you can actually see everything a lot easier. But having said that, what I noticed when using this phone, because the screen goes all the way to the side, let's say I'm using Twitter, I'm scrolling, the moment my palm touches a particular part of the side screen, it stops. So there's a problem with the software where it detects your palm. It's not supposed to detect your palm touching the side.
So it's overly sensitive.
It's overly sensitive and it kind of destroys the whole user experience.
Eventually, I found that it was because the palm rejection software on the Edge screen isn't as sensitive as it should be.
Is it because of the curved screen? Is that why?
So the screen, so basically there are touch sensitive points
Yeah.
alongside this Edge screen. So you can see I just enabled something here as well. And by right, it should be a lot less sensitive along this side. I disabled it after a week because I felt that it wasn't really as efficient as they kind of mentioned that you would be. But at the same time, I think they haven't actually finalized really what really works on the Edge screen yet. So last year they kind of made it really thin. Now they've doubled the size.
So
What's
there's
gonna happen
better
next year?
visibility on the
Correct.
edge screen. We can safely say that Samsung has really done well in terms of camera and also software-wise in just a span of 1 year.
The company as a whole, that S5 was a turning point because they realized that they couldn't keep on churning out devices with very little personality and very little improvements over the years. The S6 was really good. the S7, I feel like, was the culmination of what happened since the S5.
They're following what Apple is doing. Very incremental changes that people will actually notice instead of putting 50 new features that you probably just use once. So
it's being efficient.
it's being efficient
With your changes,
and
right?
really concentrate on what people really need instead of putting everything, including the kitchen sink, into a phone that you are not likely to use after a week.
Yeah, let's talk about the price here.
For that price, I think that it's a little bit higher than most consumers would expect to pay for. I think Malaysian consumers especially, once you hit past that 3,000 ringgit barrier, it becomes less of an impulse purchase than, let's say, an iPhone. So in that sense, they are going for a very premium market, and that may or may not work.
Most people don't actually have that much expendable income to spend 3,000 on a new phone. Having said that, when you pay 3,099 for a phone, you expect it to be the best. And I would say that this is probably the best Android phone right now when it comes to all the features, when it comes to all the processing speed, and also when you look at it, you know that it's a work of art sort of, because everything is very polished and you don't get that with all these other competing brands.
So do you think it's because it wants to compete with Apple and has always been targeting a more premium class of consumers?
In some ways, yes, they've always done that. And I think with their S7 Edge, they've actually, I believe they are also confident that they have in their hands a product that's finally able to be not just on par, but higher, on a higher level. But like Effie says, for the price that you pay, this is actually, at this moment in time, this is actually the best one you can buy.
Okay, so 309, a bit on the steep side, but like Effie said, it's a work of art. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Pang. Thank you, Effie, for your time. Let's cheers to the S7 Edge.
S7 Edge.
S7 Edge.
Edge. Thank you. Do you want to take a selfie? Let's take a selfie. Again.
All right. Wow.